time to check in on the latest buzz in the entertainment world.
Liz and Mike from 105.1 The Buzz joining us live right now. Good morning, you guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, Lizzo updates.
I know, Liz, you kept saying alleged yesterday, and now she's talking about how these aren't true, these allegations. So let's hear more.
Yeah, so she finally released a statement. Everybody was kind of sitting and waiting, like, this has been going on the internet for at least a full day now. When is Lizzo and her people, like, when are they going to speak out? Like, when are they going to release a press release? And they did it early this morning up on her Instagram. It's since been shared everywhere. But basically, she talks about how difficult the last few days have been. Her work ethic, her morals, respectfulness, all of that's been questioned. Her character has been criticized, and that all of these allegations are false and outrageous. And because of that, she's addressing them because normally she wouldn't. She said they're sensationalized stories coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. And then from there, you know, she does talk about how she doesn't want to be looked at like a victim, but she is not the villain she is being portrayed to be, that she knows what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. And basically that she's hurt, but she will not let the good work she's done in the world be overshadowed by this. And then she thanks everyone who's reached out to her during this difficult time. Now, where it still gets a little troublesome is there's a lot of allegations that are out there that she didn't even mention that got completely missed. And since yesterday, there's been other people that have been speaking out against her on top of the 3 people that filed the lawsuit for sexual harassment and a hostile work environment, including the former director of her documentary, who only worked on it for 2 weeks before quitting because, to paraphrase, basically said she was a bully to everyone. So, you know, you have Lizzo being like innocent until proven guilty, which, you know, obviously that's kind of how, you know, people look at it. But at the same time, not a single celebrity or a member of her team has come out and spoken and said, actually, that's not true at all. It's all been people doing the opposite right now.
Right. I think that's the tough part. It's kind of like, who to believe when Lizzo is saying, like, no, none of this is true. And then there's kind of this growing group of people that are saying, you know, no, I believe these women, or I've experienced similar things. I think ultimately we're gonna have to wait and see what happens in a courtroom, you know, however this is solved.
I know, and it's also difficult because a lot of times females, like powerful women, are just labeled difficult to work with or hard to work with or a bully by someone who like can't take the heat, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so maybe these allegations are less on like the harassment side, and maybe she's just not easy to work with. I'm not defending or accusing Lizzo. I just think there is so much here that it's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad as a plus size woman because it was really nice to finally have somebody that was speaking out for body positivity.
Yeah.
And that the whole message was love yourself no matter what you look like, no matter what size you are. If I can love myself, you can love yourself. And so now, regardless of how this ends up turning out, it still tarnishes that image a little bit. And now the question is like it hurts the messaging that went with it. And so many of us that were fans or are fans of Lizzo, it makes you kind of start to question everything. It's like, well, I really liked what she stood for. I really liked her music. And then you're like, but I can't stand for this that's coming out. Like, it's just a complicated place to be in. And it makes me sad because that was not on my 2023 bingo card, that there were going to be sexual harassment and hostile work environment allegations against Lizzo.
The message certainly shouldn't be diluted because it still is very true.
Yeah.
But it's just disappointing that it can be overshadowed by this.
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the situation's probably going to get a little bit hairier before it gets better for Lizzo. Like Liz said earlier, there is nobody that has come out publicly from a celebrity standpoint that's taken up for her. Yesterday, I mentioned on here that Beyonce's already removed performing Lizzo's name in the Break My Soul remix, which she acknowledges women from a powerful standpoint where she's acknowledging them. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all kind of plays out. But the more and more people that are coming out, it's just not looking good.
Yeah, and quite honestly, we may never get some clear answers here because in all likelihood, this could be settled out of court with an NDA, and something's just going to be settled, and we just may never get, you know, more information or more answers. But I think, you know, to everyone's point, tarnished the reputation for Lizzo for sure.
overall.
I think her career has taken a pretty irreversible turn. So it's just a big bummer all around. Yeah.
Well, talking about 2023 bingo card, I guess Busta Rhymes wanting to date Martha Stewart wasn't
Also
necessarily
not on my bingo
it.
card this year.
I love this so much. So he did an interview with Men's Health magazine, and they were showing like throwback pictures. And back in the 90s, they were at the MTV VMA Awards, and Martha was in her 50s, Buster was in his 20s, and he said now, after seeing her swimsuit edition, he'd like to take her out on a date. And that he's fully grown now, that he can completely handle her. So I think this is fabulous. I would like to see these two date because, you know, in general, I feel like a 30-year age gap can be creepy if one person's in their 20s. But if both of them are at the point where they can cash Social Security checks, at that point, age is just a number.
Oh man, I mean, I guess props to Busta Rhymes for shooting his shot.
I think it was the line. What was it? I can handle her. That.
Yeah, I will give her the business, I believe was the line.
Oh, wow.
So it does get worse.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
But listen, here's the thing. Martha Stewart is 83 years old on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Busta Rhymes is in peak physical shape at the age of 51, and it's because he's on the cover of Men's Health right now, and that's who did this interview. Like, this would be a phenomenal relationship. Two of the most lovable characters of the past couple decades. And if we're all being honest, we're jealous of Martha Stewart's relationship with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, totally.
Having a wedding between him or between Busta Rhymes and Martha Stewart with Snoop Dogg performing at the reception would be the envious party of
That's
generation.
my royal wedding
yeah,
right there.
yeah. If they get together, I want a couples cover shoot for sure.
For AARP. Well, that's all the time we have today, guys. It was so nice talking to you.
See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow it
Bye,
is.
friends.
Don't forget you can listen to Liz and Mike every weekday morning on 105.1 The Buzz. We'll be right back.